So we have seen hello world, the code part of the hello world, and let's get back to the slides and see what's left. So we have seen all this in whiteboard and looked at some of the files involved as well. We briefly discussed the importance of getting everything right with the hello world program. So we got the compiler or the interpreter, Visual Studio Code, all those software is working. If your hello world is working, your debugging is working, etc. And we have discussed the importance and why do we care about this so much. So we have seen this scary demo as well before. We have seen the machine code generated by the Python compiler or the Python interpreter, which is a converter program into the operating system. We used a native debugger for that. As I mentioned, that demo is not to be done by you. It was a complicated demo just for display purposes, for understanding. We have seen the code demo of the hello world with a bit of a variation. So we have made some purposeful mistakes. So we try to add s to the print, it didn't work. And then we try to remove the brackets, codes, and all sorts of things. Feel free to play around it more if you want when you Python yourself, the coding yourself in Visual Studio Code or in Notepad based on your preference. So again, coming back to this question, so we will try to answer this question throughout the course. Probably we'll keep reviewing our understanding about it. So we have seen it is a set of instructions executed one by one, and at the end of the day it's a text file. It's a human readable text file, and it is executed line after line with the help of operating system and the Python compiler or the Python runtime itself. What it is doing, it is instructing the computer, instructing the hardware to do something. In our case, the hello world was instructing our display card or the display hardware to display hello world on the screen, on the monitor. So we have done an output. We have used an output device of a computer by doing the hello world. Before we move forward, this is one of the things I want to really highlight here. And this is definitely going to come in your way when you start doing this. Like I said, Python is similar to English. It has some artifacts of English or some of the nature of English. At least that is the intent of Python. But what are the differences? So this particular slide explains or focus on the difference of Python and a language like English. So this is the main point I wanted to highlight right here. In our daily language, we don't care about full stops and spellings, and I might have made a lot of spelling mistakes already, but still you picked it up without much of an issue. In our daily natural language like English, we don't care about full stops or anything like that, commas, full stops, space, paragraph, all those things we don't care. But in a programming language, it does matter. We cannot ignore them. We have a tendency of ignoring them, and that's where the source of most of the problems in programming, at least in the early stages. You will get used to it, but till then, it is a problem. Even now, after 20 plus years of programming, I can tell you, I do have that problem. Sometimes I miss a space, I ignore a space, a comma, a colon, a lot of such things. So if you ask me the villains, these are the villains in the story. So let me highlight it again. So these are special characters which programming uses left, right, and center. There is space here which is not visible. There is a space here and all these special characters. So they are very important. Your entire attention should be on these characters when you see a code. When I explain a code, when I look at something and ask you to do it, your 90% attention should be on these characters. You will get used to it, but Till then, you need to pay that much attention to this part of the code which we're going to see. So these special characters, we have a tendency to ignore, and source of error, and normally sometimes it's very difficult to find as well. In the previous example, when we missed one of these guys, it clearly said in plain English, hey, you are missing this thing. But sometimes it's not the case. It'll be very, very hard to understand what is missing. So this is again not just with Python. Almost all programming language has a problem. This is very common and very important source of problem in the coding. To explain my own experience, I was doing my first C programming Hello World lab, and it was not a success. Even today, I don't know what I did wrong. Probably I was missing a semicolon or a closing bracket, not sure. But I couldn't get my Hello World working in my C lab. After that, I had to copy the code from someone else to make it work, unfortunately. So I still remember, probably it's almost 20 years before, it is one of the toughest program I have written, and I couldn't get it right. So I know the difficulty around it. So pay attention, that's why I'm reiterating. So we are not trained so far to pay attention to such details, which are the special characters. Our natural language doesn't work that way. So that is where we need our attention. So being said that, let's get into the next function, which is the input. We have already seen input in one of the demos, but we didn't explain what it was. So print is giving output from the program. So program is here and the monitor is here. So the print is giving output to the monitor. So whatever we are printing, it is coming into the monitor. Now input, like the name says, it takes input value from the keyboard to the program. So it is the other way. So it takes input. So let's see that in a demo. So what I'm going to do is, this is our Hello World. I'm going to input, enter test input. So I'm passing again a string right here. So it'll just behave like a print, but with a slight difference we will see. I'm going to give a print here also. Second Hello World. So we have two Hello Worlds. One is the first Hello World right here in line number 1, and then we have an input. We don't know what this does yet. And we have a print statement in line number 3 as well. I'm going to execute it. If you want, you can predict the output of this program, but let's see. So I want your attention right here. Remember, we had all those Hello World and all of them printed in one shot. Now, what's going on? This Hello World, the second Hello World, has not printed here yet. Now what's going on? So we have this printed right here. The first Hello World is printed, and we have the second line is also printed, but the third line is not printed. So what is going on is this particular line is waiting for input from the user, which is me in this case. I can input anything I want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have typed 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, anything I can type. I typed 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I need to press enter. So when I pressed enter, this function entered. This line number 2 entered, and it executed line number 3, as you can see here. So it took an input 1, 2, 3, 4 from the user. Till then, it was waiting for the user to enter something. So that is the function of input. Take value from the user. And then it printed the second Hello World. after getting the value from the user and ended the program. So this prompt, so we have the PowerShell prompt here, which means the program has ended. Now, where is this 1, 2, 3, 4 going? I have ended 1, 2, 3, 4, but I don't know where it is going. So that is probably the next thing we need to figure out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a print statement across it. So I will tell you what this is. And I'm going to execute it. Start debugging. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to type to the wrong place. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Let me execute that again because I pressed a Control Z here. So good. So I'm executing it once again from the run, start debugging. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it was stopping and I ended 1, 2, 3, 4 and it printed 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So that print is done by line number 2. And then the second hello world is printed. So what's happening is these are functions. The print is a function, input is a function. Functions are nothing but some code written by someone else. We will see them shortly in detail, but for the time being, they are code written by someone which takes argument. In this case, this is the argument this function is taking and return a value. In this case, the input is returning this 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't worry much about the return value of print, but we do worry about the return value of input because that's what we need. So to make things a little more clearer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something called variable. Variable is nothing but a piece of memory, which is the next concept we're going to discuss as well. But before that, I'm going to take the liberty of using a variable here. So test var. You can name the variable anything you want within certain restrictions. I'm going to cut this, Control X, and put it here. Now, what I'm doing here is I have a piece of memory here, or I have a bag or a container. What I'm putting inside the container? The return value of input. And instead of this second hello world, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print my test var. Input has returned and print. I can print that in one line, but just I'm not making any more complicated than it is already is. Test var. So in this case, I'm going to capture the input which is returned here into this variable test var, which is nothing but a piece of memory. And then normally I'm going to print line number 3, just like the ones we have seen. And finally, I'm going to print line number 4. And I'm expecting the value I have input here should be printed. Let's see that. Start debugging. So it is waiting for the input now. There is no change in any of it. So it has called that function and entered test input. I'm going to write something else this time. A little more lengthy string. I have input there. And if you look at here, input has returned. So it is printing even the spelling mistake I have put here, exactly as it is. So line number 3 is printing, and then finally it is printing that variable as well. Source lens is teaching. So that's what I have entered here. Using my keyboard while it was waiting, I have entered source lens is teaching.